Hello, I'm Ray Upchurch. You're watching the Trey Heart Learning Channel, and today I'm going to be talking about getting better sleep habits. Some people say to me, well, how can I get better sleep? You remember in my last video I talked to you about that there are other things to getting healthy other than just losing weight, and getting better sleep was one of them. Now there's some habits that people can get into that will help them get better sleep. Now one of the things that I'm going to talk to you real quick about before I get into these habits are things that would help you. One of the things that I wanted to speak to you about is when you're getting ready to sleep at night, be sure and take care of your medical needs. Now, what I mean by this is if you are a diabetic, be sure that you've had the appropriate diabetic medications and also that you've had your appropriate snacks as suggested in your diabetic guidelines. Also, other things such as if you're a chronic pain sufferer, making sure that you are taking your pain medications. Or if you suffer for any other condition, that you make sure that you have your medications that are appropriate for your conditions before you try to go to sleep. So be sure and take care of your medical needs first. Now, one of the things to getting better sleep habits is trying to wake up at the same time every day. Now, if you're a person like me, I actually I don't alternate shifts, but when I'm not working night shifts, if I'm off on days, I will try to alternate and wake up on days. But one of the things you want to try to do is, whether you're working on nights or days, is that you want to try to make sure that you're waking up at the same time. For example, if your shift starts at 7 o'clock in the morning, you might want to try to make sure that you're getting up at it consistently at 5 o'clock every morning. Now, one of the second thing is that when you get up, one of the best ways of making sure that you wake up is to expose yourself to sunlight, to your environment, to fresh air. So open up your curtains, open up your windows, make sure that you get that environment and fresh air. Now, my wife is always getting on to me about that because I have this bad habit of leaving windows and leaving the blinds down, and it's almost like I'm in a cave. But if you open up those blinds and open up your windows, get yourself the fresh air, the light, and the air will help you. Now, if you're a night shift worker, the light won't so much as help you, but the air will help wake you, I should say. One of the other things to help you get better sleep, believe it or not, is to exercise. So exercise has a lot of benefits to it outside of keeping you fit. It helps your body, it helps keep your body in shape. And exercise, by keeping your body in shape, also helps that when you're ready for sleep, your body is also tired and it's ready for that sleep. So if you exercise regularly on a regular basis, then your body will be ready for this. Now, you don't want to exercise within the first couple of hours before you go to bed, because that will be counterproductive. Basically, you will have revved up your body and your body won't be ready for sleep within those couple of hours. So you don't want to exercise within those couple of hours, but you want to exercise regularly. Another thing you want to do is make sure that you eat your meals earlier in the day. Basically, you don't want to have your meals after a certain time in the day. For example, 3 o'clock would be a good time if I was going to bed, say, about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Now, why would 3 o'clock or even 5 o'clock be a good time for that? because that gives me few hours to digest my meals, and so my body is not having to concentrate on digesting its meal, and it gives me a few hours in between time when I can rest and relax and get my body ready for its sleep cycle. Now, concerning eating, one of the things that you do want to do is make sure that you eat healthily. Now, some people have a nighttime snack, and one of the things I mentioned in the earliest part of this video was to take care of your medical needs first. Now, each of us have different needs that we need to do. Diabetics have to have specific amount of carbs or certain things that before they go to sleep so that their insulin doesn't affect them. But the other people don't require that. And matter of fact, most people should avoid things like carbs and sugars before they go to sleep unless they have diabetes. So a healthy snack, if you must eat within a couple of hours before you go to sleep, is to have something like nuts, something that doesn't increase your sugar and doesn't have that high protein. Well, it is a protein, but it doesn't have the carbs, I should say. It doesn't have the carbs in it, the high carbohydrates, that doesn't cause fluctuations in your blood sugar that with people that don't have diabetes wouldn't be helpful to them. Now, a person who has diabetes, obviously listen to your doctor's advice in what they've told you to eat before you go to sleep. That it will help you and your body the best way to do. One of the things that you want to do is avoid at all costs caffeine later in the day. Now, I know a lot of people that I work with, they have caffeine. There's a lot of people that have caffeine through their shift and all the way to the end of their shift, and then when they go home, their bodies are revved up. Now, it's good for keeping you awake through the shift, but if you have it within 4 hours of you sleeping, then it will most likely affect whether you can sleep or not. One of the general advices is that if you are having something with caffeine in it, that say for example you were going to sleep at night, that you avoid caffeine after 3 p.m. And the same if you're a night shifter working into the morning, that you avoid caffeine after 3 a.m. Now, a lot of people will have that caffeine drink just before they go out on the road because they want to keep them awake while they're out on the road. And obviously, you know what's needed to keep you awake, but you know, the advice for you being able to get back to sleep is to avoid caffeine after certain days. Now, one of the best things that is going to help your sleep is sticking to a routine. You will notice that I told you that I swap my sleep over from when I'm working nights, then and if I'm off several days in a row, I'll swap my sleep pattern. But even in that, you need to try to keep it to as routine as possible. Some coworkers that I work with, if they're working nights, they keep their routine the same. They don't swap their routine around. They don't try to get up during the day. They just sleep through the day, even on their days off. I'm one of the ones who can't do that, or I don't like to do that. I can do that, obviously, but I don't like to do that because there's not a lot that goes on around the community that's close to me that would be of interest to me during the night. So I like to do those things through the day. But even saying that, I try to keep routine to those certain times that I get up. Routine is paramount to breaking bad sleep habits. One of the things that a lot of people do, and I have to admit, is that I'm very guilty of this, is sometimes sit down and watch the TV up until the very hour that I'm going to go to sleep, and then try to go to sleep. And some of the suggestions is that at least for the last hour before you go to sleep, you have what they call a screen blackout. So meaning no TV, no computers, that you just try to rest and relax and give your body that chance so they can get ready for the sleep phase. So you want to make sure that, or try to ensure that you aren't watching the TV, staying on the computers, staying on your iPad, staying on your smartphones, that of all those devices, you put them down an hour before you go to sleep. I know an hour seems like a long time to somebody. That hour gives your body time to rest and to start get ready for that sleep phase cycle. One of the things as well is remember to get rid of the lights as well around you. Now, one of the things that will help you have better sleep routine is that as things are starting to calm down, that you turn off some of the lights. So you turn off some of your house lights, you start closing the blinds, closing the windows, that you get your body into a routine that it knows that, hey, when I do this routine, I'm getting ready to sleep. So you turn off some of the lights around you. Remember as well that temperature of any room is very important. If you want to have a good sleep, then you want to make sure that that temperature is what's comfortable for you. Basically, if you're too cold, you're going to wake up and be uncomfortable. If you're too hot, you're going to wake up and be uncomfortable. So you want to make sure that your temperature in your room is as comfortable as you can get it for you. Now, I realize that not every home has air conditioning in it. So you might want to make sure that if you don't have air conditioning, or that you can get fans or whatever that are near you that are going to reduce your temperature, that will help keep you cool so that it makes it easier for you to sleep. Another thing that's as important as temperatures is making sure that the right aromas are around you. Now, some people like to have their own aroma stations. Aroma stations are these machines basically that heat up different scents, and as the different scents goes in the air, that it will give your body like a sense of like being by the ocean or whatever aroma that they like. That is a good idea, but it's not necessarily one of the things you have to do. One of the things you can do is make sure that any bad smells of the day are eliminated so that those won't be distracting. And if you do need something that helps you to sleep, that you could have some aromatherapy oils or something like these aroma stations going on, or a plug-in has a scent that's, lavender-ish or something that's going to help you sleep. All of these are helpful to you gaining better sleep habits. In the link below, I've put some links to a few of the books that may be helpful to you. A few of the aroma stations or aromatherapy things that may be helpful to you. So, click on some of the links below, check it out. And if you like this video, please press the like button below. If you have never subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and pass this video on to your friends. I'll see you next time. I just want people to know that no, there's not two of me. There is only one of me making this video. I know you saw me interviewing myself before, but there's not two of me doing this. So you don't have to be afraid. There's only one, I promise.